Have you ever wondered if something as simple as your daily vitamin could secretly be putting your brain and your life at risk while you sleep? Imagine waking up one morning unable to move your arm, slurring your words, or feeling like your balance is gone, all without warning, pain, or any sign that something was wrong the night before. For millions of Americans over 60, this isn't just a scary story. It's a silent reality happening every single day, and most never see it coming. Before you dismiss this as just another health scare, let me ask, how sure are you that the vitamins and supplements in your medicine cabinet are truly safe for your age, your health conditions, and the other medications you take? What if the habits you trust to protect your bones, heart, and memory could be increasing your risk of stroke, brain bleeds, or dangerous blood pressure spikes? In this video, I'm going to reveal 5 common vitamins. Ones you've probably heard are good for seniors, that could quietly be harming your brain, especially if you take them at the wrong time or in the wrong dose. You'll hear real-life stories of seniors whose lives were forever changed by seemingly harmless supplements, the science behind these risks, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself starting today. Stay with me until the end, because I'll also show you what to do instead. Simple, everyday changes that could save your health, your independence, and possibly your life. Don't miss this. If you are not subscribed, subscribe and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos. Your support means a lot to me, and if you enjoyed this video, you can help me continue spreading the valuable lessons by liking and sharing it. If you like the topic of this video, please comment 1. If you don't, please comment 0 to let me know how I can improve and make better videos for you. Now, let's begin. Now, let's start with perhaps the most shocking revelation of all. Vitamin D, the so-called sunshine vitamin that so many of us have been told is a universal good. The truth is, what you don't know about vitamin D could turn a peaceful night's rest into the beginning of a nightmare you never saw coming. I've seen it firsthand, and I wish more people truly understood the risks. We've all heard that vitamin D is essential for healthy bones, a stronger immune system, and a brighter mood, especially as we age and our bodies change. And yes, all of that is true, but only in moderation. What breaks my heart is that hardly anyone tells seniors the whole story. That too much vitamin D, especially when you take it late in the day or before bedtime, can silently raise your risk of having a stroke. I know how unbelievable that sounds. It shocked me too, the first time I saw it happen in real life. Let me share a story that still keeps me up at night. Mr. Walter, a proud, disciplined Navy veteran of 75, was one of my patients. He did everything by the book, always looked after his health, kept his mind sharp, and never missed his daily supplements. Every single morning, with the precision only a Navy man could muster, he lined up his pills, including a massive 10,000 IU vitamin D capsule. He thought he was doing everything right to protect his bones and stay strong for his wife and grandkids. But what none of us realized at first was that this routine was quietly setting the stage for disaster. One morning, the unimaginable happened. His wife found him slumped at the breakfast table, barely able to speak, his right side paralyzed. It was a stroke, and it struck without warning in the dead of night. I will never forget the look on her face. Fear, confusion, and heartbreak all at once. The lab tests revealed the truth: extremely high calcium levels, stiff arteries, erratic blood pressure. The hidden enemy? Vitamin D toxicity. It was devastating, both for his family and for me as his doctor. You see, when you take large doses of vitamin D, especially without your doctor's guidance, it can cause calcium to flood your bloodstream. Your body can't process all that extra calcium, so it gets deposited in your arteries, turning them hard and narrow, like old garden hoses left out in the sun. And what does that mean? It means a blood clot can form in those rigid arteries and travel straight to your brain. The worst part? There are no warning signs. You feel fine when you go to bed, but your life can change forever in a single night. Aging already brings natural changes. Our arteries stiffen, our bodies dehydrate more easily, and our sleep is sometimes restless. Add a spike of calcium in the middle of the night, and you've got a dangerous recipe for stroke, one most people never even see coming. It makes me so frustrated to think that this could have been avoided with the right information. Here's something else that makes me anxious. In America, many over-the-counter vitamin D supplements are shockingly strong. Some bottles contain 5,000 or even 10,000 IU per capsule, way more than what most older adults need. People take these day after day, thinking more is better. But research shows that even 2,000 IU a day can be excessive unless you are truly deficient. Sometimes, doing more for your health can put you in danger. Please hear this from someone who's seen the consequences. If you're taking vitamin D, especially with calcium supplements or heart medications, get your blood levels checked regularly. Don't just assume you're safe because it's sold over the counter. And always take your vitamin D in the morning, not before bed. These small details can save your life. If you're feeling shocked, you're not alone. But hold on to your seat, because the next vitamin I'm going to talk about is one that millions of older adults take for heart health. Yet, in the wrong situation, it can lead to something even scarier than a clot, a bleed in the brain. Let's talk about vitamin E. It's been marketed as the ultimate heart helper, and I get why so many people over 60 add it to their routines. We all want to keep our heart strong, our minds sharp, and maybe even get a little help with our skin along the way. But here's the uncomfortable truth that nobody puts on the supplement label. Too much vitamin E, especially when you're already taking heart medications like blood thinners, can drastically raise your risk of bleeding in the brain. I wish I didn't have to say it, but ignoring this fact can have devastating consequences. One story that will stay with me forever is Mrs. Evelyn Brooks, a bright, witty, 81-year-old retired librarian from Ohio. She loved her books, her family, and her independence. She was under careful medical supervision for a heart valve issue and took warfarin, a common blood thinner, with regular blood tests and steady blood pressure. She did everything right. But one day, she saw an ad for a natural vitamin E supplement, 800 IU per capsule, and decided it couldn't hurt. After all, it was just a vitamin, right? What happened next was every doctor's nightmare. And I'll tell you more in just a moment. But first, let's make sure no one else has to experience the same fear, confusion, and loss that I've seen in families who thought they were doing everything to stay healthy. Your health is precious. The smallest changes in your supplement routine can have life-changing consequences, sometimes for better, but sadly, sometimes for worse. I hope sharing these stories will not only inform you but also give you the courage to ask more questions and protect yourself and your loved ones. I thought it would help my memory and circulation, she confessed softly, her voice trembling with regret. I remember the hope in her eyes when she first told me about her new vitamin routine. Just a small, hopeful act to reclaim a piece of her youth, to keep her mind sharp and her body strong. But only 3 weeks later, her life was turned upside down. She was rushed to the emergency room, suffering from an unbearable headache, severe confusion, and relentless vomiting. I'll never forget the look of panic on her family's faces as doctors raced to stabilize her. The scans revealed a hemorrhagic stroke, bleeding deep inside her brain. The cause wasn't the usual suspect: no dangerously high blood pressure, no traumatic fall. Instead, it was the combination of warfarin, a blood thinner she'd faithfully taken for years, and what she thought was a harmless supplement, high-dose vitamin E. This mix made her blood so thin it couldn't clot, so fragile that a single tiny blood vessel in her brain simply burst. Here's what most people don't realize, and what I wish everyone, especially seniors, understood. Vitamin E, especially in high doses, acts as a natural anticoagulant. In other words, it slows down your body's ability to form clots, which can be life-saving in some circumstances, but deadly in others. If you're already taking blood thinners like aspirin, Plavix, or warfarin, adding extra vitamin E dramatically increases your risk of silent, internal bleeding. The brain is particularly vulnerable. Even a small bleed can rob you of your speech, erase your most precious memories, or take away your ability to walk. The thought of that possibility honestly terrifies me. It could happen to anyone's parent, friend, or loved one, all because of a simple vitamin. The part that makes my heart ache is how easy it is to make this mistake. The recommended daily intake for older adults is just 15 milligrams, around 22 international units, IU. But walk down any pharmacy aisle, and you'll see shelves lined with vitamin E capsules boasting 200, 400, even 1000 IU per pill. No warning labels. No pharmacist pulling you aside to double-check your medications. People take these doses for years, thinking they're making a smart choice, never realizing the danger building inside them. Mrs. Evelyn survived her ordeal, but not without lasting consequences. She now walks with a cane, her steps unsteady, her confidence forever shaken. Her short-term memory, once sharp, now flickers with frustrating gaps. I'll never forget what she told me, tears streaming down her face. "I just wanted to help myself. I didn't know I was harming." Those words haunt me. They remind me that so many seniors, good, caring people, trust that if it's a vitamin, it must be safe. But the painful truth is that not every vitamin is harmless, especially if you're on heart or blood pressure medications. You absolutely must talk to your doctor before adding anything new to your routine. Please, don't let a well-intentioned choice change your life forever. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 1 below to let me know that you are still here with me. And as if the threat of a brain bleed wasn't frightening enough, there's another supplement that silently puts nerves at risk, a vitamin many people take for energy and nerve health, not knowing it can slowly and permanently damage their body. Let's talk about vitamin B6. You've probably seen it in countless nerve support formulas, the ones promising better brain health, sharper focus, or more youthful energy. Maybe you've heard a friend, a neighbor, or even a pharmacist recommend it for tingling fingers or memory slips. But here's a harsh reality I wish were printed in bold on every bottle. Too much vitamin B6 can destroy the very nerves it claims to protect, sometimes leaving damage that can never be reversed. I'll never forget meeting Mr. Harold Jenkins, a 76-year-old retired truck driver from Kansas. He came to see me because he'd begun to lose feeling in his feet. His hands tingled, and he struggled to keep his balance, chalking it up to old age. But then he started to fall. Once, then again, and on the third time, he hit his head hard on the cold bathroom floor. When I sat down to go through his medications and supplements, the culprit practically leapt out at me. For more than a year, he'd been faithfully taking a nerve support supplement that promised all the right things. The label looked so reassuring. But inside each tablet, a shocking 100 milligrams of vitamin B6. He was taking 2 pills a day, 200 milligrams total, which is more than 10 times the safe upper limit for seniors. All that time, he believed he was protecting his health, not realizing he was putting his nerves and his independence in jeopardy. It's stories like these that keep me up at night. People like Mrs. Evelyn and Mr. Jenkins are just trying to do the right thing for their bodies. But without the right information and without someone to guide them, a simple mistake can have devastating consequences. That's why I feel so strongly. Before you reach for that bottle, talk to your doctor. Ask questions. And never ever assume that just because it's called a vitamin, it's always safe. Your health and your future are worth that extra step. Now, here's the truly frightening truth, one that most people never even consider when reaching for a bottle of supplements. Unlike certain vitamins, like vitamin C, which your body can easily flush out in your urine, vitamin B6 is a completely different story. B6 doesn't simply exit your system. Instead, it lingers, quietly accumulating over weeks, months, even years. This is especially alarming for older adults, whose bodies process nutrients differently than they did in their youth. What many people don't realize, and I've seen this heartbreakingly often in my practice, is that too much B6 can slowly, insidiously damage the protective coating that surrounds your nerves. Imagine stripping the insulation off electrical wires. What's left is exposed, raw, and incredibly vulnerable. The consequences can be devastating. At first, it might just be a gentle tingling in your hands or feet, or a strange sense of numbness you can't quite explain. But then, as the damage builds, muscle weakness creeps in, perhaps a persistent tremor in your fingers, maybe even confusion or problems with your memory that you might mistake for just getting older. It's terrifying how easily these symptoms can masquerade as common problems. Arthritis, simple aging, or even early dementia. But the reality is, B6 toxicity is a silent and preventable kind of nerve damage caused by something so many of us take in good faith, a supplement that's supposed to help. I remember one patient in particular, Mr. Jenkins. He was always determined to take care of his mind and body, doing everything right. When he came to me with these odd symptoms, none of us suspected his daily brain support pill. Thankfully, we caught it in time and stopped the supplement, preventing the damage from getting worse. Yet the impact lingers. Mr. Jenkins now relies on a cane to get around and has had to give up driving, something that robbed him of a bit of his cherished independence. He once told me, with tears in his eyes, "I just wanted to protect my brain. I didn't realize I was poisoning it." Those words haunt me. How many others are out there, suffering in silence, not knowing the real cause? Let's be crystal clear. Vitamin B6 is vital for your health, but only in tiny, almost minuscule amounts. For older adults, just 2 to 10 milligrams per day is enough, and that includes what you naturally get from food. Shockingly, so many over-the-counter brain boosters or memory pills contain 50, 100, even 200 milligrams of B6 per serving. That's not just unnecessary. It's dangerous. It's heartbreaking to see well-meaning people inadvertently harming themselves, all because of a lack of honest information. Now, you might be thinking, well, at least other vitamins like A must be safe, right? After all, isn't vitamin A just for eyesight? I used to think that too, before I learned how easily things can go wrong. Let's talk about vitamin A, another well-intentioned nutrient that can quietly become a menace. If you're like most of the older adults I speak to, you've probably been told that vitamin A is essential for good vision. You might have taken it to boost your immune system, for healthy skin, or simply because someone told you it would help you age gracefully. But here's the chilling reality almost no one talks about, especially for those of us over 60. Too much vitamin A doesn't simply pass through your body. It stays. It accumulates, building up over time, hiding in your liver, your tissues, even your brain. It's like an invisible tide rising slowly but surely. I will never forget Miss Dorothy Simmons. At 79, she was the very picture of spirited independence. A retired piano teacher in Oregon, still teaching students from her cozy living room, her life filled with the joy of music and a fierce pride in doing things on her own. But then, strange symptoms began to appear. Headaches that wouldn't go away. Blurred vision, then dizzy spells. Most frightening of all, her speech began to slur. Her family panicked, fearing the worst, a stroke. When the scans came back, we were stunned. There was no clot, no bleeding. Instead, the pressure inside Dorothy's brain was dangerously high. Her spinal fluid backed up, tiny veins straining. The culprit? Vitamin A toxicity. For years, Dorothy had faithfully taken a high-dose supplement for her skin and eyes. Nearly 10,000 IU per day, every day, never suspecting any danger. But vitamin A is fat-soluble, not water-soluble. Your body stores it first in the liver, then throughout the body, even the brain. And as we age, our liver's ability to process and clear out excess vitamin A declines, making this buildup happen even faster and more severely. This hidden excess of vitamin A can trigger a condition called pseudotumor cerebri, a false brain tumor, that mimics the symptoms of a real tumor. Pounding headaches, blurry or double vision, dizziness, nausea, and, heartbreakingly, even permanent vision loss or cognitive decline. I cannot tell you how many people I have seen who had no idea that their daily supplement, A routine they thought was helping them stay vibrant and independent was putting their health and independence at grave risk. As someone who deeply cares about the well-being of older adults, it pains me to see these stories unfold again and again. We all want to do what's best for our health, but sometimes, without proper guidance, we end up walking right into harm's way. If you or someone you love is taking supplements, especially in high doses, I urge you, please talk to your doctor. Don't let good intentions lead to lasting harm. Your health and your independence are too precious to risk on a misunderstanding. Here's the part that breaks my heart. So many multivitamins on the market already pack in the full recommended daily dose of vitamin A, but, just like Ms., countless people, especially seniors, unknowingly pile on extra doses. They reach for those enticing bottles that promise better skin, sharper eyesight, or youthful energy, not realizing they're doubling, even tripling their intake without a second thought. I see this mistake all the time, and it genuinely worries me, because the safe upper limit for vitamin A in seniors is just 2,500 to 3,000 IU per day, and that's only if your doctor specifically recommends it. But online, supplements shamelessly advertise megadoses. 5,000, 10,000 IU or even more, sometimes taken every single day for months, even years. It's truly frightening how quickly that damage can build up, hidden from sight until it's too late. Today, Ms. is making slow progress in her recovery, but the consequences are real and lasting. She now needs ongoing eye exams, constant monitoring of eye pressure, and sessions for balance therapy to regain her stability. The pain in her voice was raw when she confided in me. I thought I was doing something good for my body. I had no idea it could end up hurting my brain. Hearing those words, I felt such a wave of sadness and frustration. This isn't about pointing fingers or making anyone feel foolish. It's about sharing her story so that you, and everyone you care about, can avoid the same painful lesson. My mission is not to scare you, but to empower you with the truth, so you can protect your independence, your health, and your peace of mind. And if you think vitamins for your eyesight are risky, just wait until you learn what can happen when a vitamin, one that's supposed to support your cholesterol and heart health, suddenly turns on you and pushes your blood pressure through the roof. I'm talking about niacin, vitamin B3, a supplement you've probably seen, maybe even taken yourself, especially if you're concerned about heart disease. Niacin, or vitamin B3, is hailed by many as a natural way to lower cholesterol. Some doctors still prescribe it, and it shows up in all sorts of heart health formulas, energy drinks, and even breakfast cereals. But here's the hidden truth that rarely gets discussed, especially for older adults. When taken in high doses, niacin can quietly wreak havoc on your blood pressure, sometimes with devastating consequences, even triggering a stroke. Let me tell you about Frank Miller, a man who could be any of our neighbors, friends, or family. Frank is 82, a retired postman living a quiet life in Florida. He came to me with a troubling mix of symptoms: hot flashes that reddened his cheeks, a pounding sensation in his chest, and dizzy spells that left him unsteady every morning. His loved ones searched for answers. His wife worried it was anxiety. His son suspected his blood pressure meds. But the real culprit was something so simple, so common, that everyone missed it. Frank had been faithfully taking an over-the-counter supplement that promised better cholesterol and stronger circulation. The front label looked so reassuring. Who wouldn't trust it? But hidden on the back was the truth. Each serving packed 1,000 milligrams of niacin, and Frank was taking 2 servings daily. That's a staggering 2,000 milligrams a day, more than 60 times what most seniors need. When I realized this, my heart sank. What does such a massive dose of niacin do? First, it forces your blood vessels to open wide, causing those familiar flushes and a rush of warmth to your face. But just as quickly, the blood vessels clamp back down. This roller coaster effect, expanding, then snapping shut, raises your blood pressure, puts enormous strain on your heart, and decreases blood flow to your brain. It's like gently tapping on a delicate pane of glass over and over. Sooner or later, it's going to shatter. That's exactly what happened to Frank. One morning, He suffered a transient ischemic attack, a TIA, or mini-stroke. For 2 long minutes, his speech slurred, his words tangled, then, just as suddenly, he was back to normal. Frank brushed it off as a fluke. But I had to give him the hard news. The very supplement he believed would protect his heart was quietly putting his brain in harm's way. Frank's story is, heartbreakingly, not unique. Far too many seniors are unknowingly taking high-dose niacin, sometimes in so-called flush-free or extended-release versions they order online, thinking they're safer. But the sad truth is, even these forms can spike blood pressure, trigger dangerous heart rhythms like atrial fibrillation, and mess with blood sugar levels, leaving people more vulnerable, not less. I wish I could reach through the screen and tell every senior, your health is precious, and what you don't know can hurt you. Please, before adding any supplement, especially in high doses, talk to a doctor you trust. Your independence, your clarity, and your golden years are worth that little extra care. Here's something truly important that every older adult should know, especially if you care about your health and independence. When it comes to niacin, anything above 50 milligrams per day should never be taken lightly. At this stage in life, our bodies are more sensitive to what we put inside them. That means high doses of niacin, or any supplement, should always be used under the watchful eye of a healthcare professional. And if you already have high blood pressure, irregular heart rhythms, or you're on any sort of medication, like so many of us are, please, I urge you, double-check those supplement labels. Your life, your brain, and your future are worth that extra minute of caution. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment 2 below to let me know that you are still here with me. I can't stop thinking about Frank, a patient whose story shook me to my core. Frank stopped taking niacin after a close call. Thankfully, he's on the mend, and there's no lasting harm. But what he said to me is something I'll carry with me for the rest of my career. Doc, I thought I was doing everything right. I didn't know I was gambling with my brain. That one sentence broke my heart and opened my eyes all over again. How many of us, in our quest to do what's best, might accidentally put ourselves at risk, simply because we didn't know any better? After going over 5 common vitamins that, surprisingly, can quietly harm the brain if misused, I imagine you might be feeling a little uneasy. Maybe you're wondering, well, what should I be taking? How can I protect myself? Is there a safer way? And let me be honest, these are smart questions. They might just save your life. Because here's the truth, and I believe it with all my heart, our bodies were never meant to survive on a pharmacy's worth of pills. They were designed to flourish on real food. Food that is vibrant, whole, natural, packed with all the nutrients your brain recognizes and knows how to use, in perfect balance. Let me share another story that's especially close to me. Mrs. Margaret Wilson, Maggie, a spirited 73-year-old retired principal from sunny Arizona. The first time I visited her, she opened a kitchen drawer stuffed to the brim with supplements. Vitamin D for her bones, vitamin E for her heart, AB complex for energy, niacin for cholesterol, a daily multivitamin, plus a handful of brain boosters she'd read about online. Maggie looked at me, so sincere, and said, "I'm doing everything right, document." But underneath that determination, she was quietly struggling. Every morning, she woke up dizzy, her balance wasn't the same, and her blood pressure crept higher. I could see the worry in her eyes, even though she tried to hide it. Together, we made a radical change. Not some expensive program, not another magic bullet, but a simple return to basics. We gently cleared out the pills, one by one, and replaced them with what her body truly craved, real food in the right amounts, at the right time. Maggie's new breakfast was a joy to see. 1 perfect boiled egg for pure, clean protein, half a creamy avocado loaded with healthy fats, a hearty slice of whole grain toast for long-lasting energy, a generous handful of blueberries bursting with antioxidants, and a tall glass of room-temperature water to wake up her brain. Sometimes, she'd add a sprinkle of walnuts or almonds. Nothing fancy, just nourishing, delicious food. And then, something beautiful happened. Within just a few short weeks, Maggie's world began to shift. The dizziness faded. Her blood pressure settled. Her energy blossomed. But what moved me most was when she said, "My mind feels clearer now than it has in years. I feel like myself again." That, to me, is the true magic of food, a power no pill can match. Here's why it works. Your brain isn't hungry for megadoses or artificial shortcuts. It thrives on balance. Hydration, healthy fats, steady energy from whole grains, and vitamins in their most natural forms. The best foods for brain and body as we age are so simple. Leafy greens like spinach and kale for folate and antioxidants. Fatty fish such as salmon or sardines for those priceless omega-3s. Colorful berries to fight inflammation and aging. Nuts and seeds for healthy fats, magnesium, and vitamin E. And wholesome grains that support steady blood sugar and strong circulation. But it's not just your brain that benefits. When you nourish yourself this way, your heart, your bones, your mood, even your ability to move and enjoy life, everything gets better. Every bite becomes a step toward healing, a small act of love for yourself. So here's my heartfelt reminder. At this stage of life, every choice matters more than ever. It's not about swallowing more pills, but about understanding what your body needs. Awareness, true, thoughtful awareness, is the best medicine. And I believe with all my heart that you deserve to feel your best, to live with energy, clarity, and joy every single day. Before we say goodbye, I want to take a moment to reflect with you. We've covered so much together. From the hidden risks of certain vitamins to the simple, powerful truth that real food can heal and protect your brain, heart, and entire body. I hope that you feel more empowered and less anxious, knowing that you can make choices every single day that truly support your health. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What was the most eye-opening thing you learned in today's video? Maybe it was the story of Frank, or Maggie's transformation, or maybe you discovered a food you want to add to your breakfast tomorrow. Please, take a second to comment below and share the one thing you're going to put into practice in your own life after watching this. Your experiences, your thoughts, and your questions help everyone in our community learn and grow together. If you found value in this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Every interaction helps us reach more people who need this message. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. Remember, you have the power to shape your health, one mindful choice at a time. Take care, and I look forward to hearing your stories below.